And we're back with my car for now. I am not as excited or necessarily optimistic as I was when I first picked it up from the shop. But before I get into what they found, I just want to say thank you very much to all of the people who commented on my first video. It was very obvious that I was extremely stressed and upset, and I appreciate all the suggestions that people offered, and I just want to specifically identify some people. If I forget, it doesn't mean that I don't greatly appreciate your advice, but don't ask. He mentioned that the bolt was a cam type bolt, so understanding better what the bolt was and that it's more dealership specific, and dealerships would have it on hand versus regular automotive shops not. So that made me feel a little bit better, and kind of feel like go a little bit easier on the shop. Another reason, really quickly, I want to point out, and I was all over the place in my videos, because in my head, I know what happened. I think I've relayed that, and I necessarily didn't. But I was out without my car for 1 full week. They did give me a loaner car, which was great, but it just kept always going to tomorrow, that my car was going to be ready. Like, it was insane, and it was very frustrating. And then the last bomb drop second to last, that I had to buy a new cam arm, and that was $500+. And then when I was going to get my car back the day, the check engine light came on. So there was some frustration along with that. And then, I'm sorry if I butcher your names, but Seth Doy pointed out that my door could have been from somebody backing my car up and it hitting something, which completely makes sense to me. Yeah, very upsetting. I was like, oh, this really upsets me. Should I bring it to their attention? He said that if I have more issues with it, then make them fix it. And I'm glad I recorded that. So let's see what else. My mom, thank you for your support, your words of encouragement. My mom is my motivation to attempt to do these kinds of things on my own, because she's just more hands-off with that stuff. So I like to really try, and there's an element of wanting to save money in there too, of course. I know more. You had a lot of great comments. I think I have seen Chris Fix before on YouTube, Scotty Kilmer. I've seen his videos. And you mentioned there was a part shortage. I don't think I had heard that or was aware of that. So again, that made me feel better, because I'm not in this kind of mechanic world and I don't know what is going on clearly. So you guys talking me through it has been very helpful. Trey B, just always my loyal commenter. I totally appreciate you. There was a commenter, George D. Veneer. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but you really had some nice, considerate words of encouragement, and I greatly appreciate that. And I do try my best to be resilient. Sometimes things get the better of me in the moment, but, just having people out there feel like I have support is very, very comforting, and it's not something I'm used to, because I always used to hold everything inside and never talk about what was going on, or what I might need help with or whatever. So like Nurse Babs has said before, that there are more good people than there are bad, and I really do see that a lot in my comments, so thank you. And then Harris Industries, again, you had a lot of very kind words as well, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you to everyone who commented on my videos and took the time to listen to me and watch what I was doing, and not belittle me or tell me that I was awful and didn't know any better. And I was much more well received than I would have expected, and I appreciate that. So back to the latest on my car. They did run some diagnostics and said that it had to do with the engine coil or cord or cable, that one of the ignition. One of the ignition cords, cables, coils, ignition, one of those seemed to be loose. And so they tightened that up and it seems to be running okay. I was like, what the heck is the ignition coil cord? And he said that it's above the spark plugs. I guess the things that you take out, so the things that I took out of the spark plugs, that was loose, I guess. Anyway, he told me that Mazda has come out and said that the coils that are in there are not good and to replace them, but I've never received any kind of word on that. And like I've said a million times, I take my car to the dealership. So he was like, well, would you like to go ahead and just get those parts ordered and replace them all? And I asked, well, he came right out and he said labor would be totally free, which is very, very helpful. And then he said that the overall cost would be $11.50 or whatever. And in my mind, I immediately thought like $11 and whatever change. But then I quickly was like, no, there's no way it's that much. So I clarified with him. I said, over $1,000? And he said, yeah. And I said, oh no way. I am tapped. I cannot afford that. I will just drive the car and hope that you guys tightening the ignition coil will be okay. But I did call Mazda today and told them my situation, and asked them to price out some of the ignition coils. So they haven't gotten back to me yet. I called them back again this afternoon just to price it out, because while I still think that this particular shop, Levitt Automotive, was great in their customer service, extremely helpful with the loaner car, and then even the owner, Travis, he would give me rides back to my place. And then at one point, he even picked me up to take me to get the loaner car, or was it my car? So that was extremely great customer service, in my opinion. I will go to a Mazda dealership if anything else comes up. Not because I think that they ripped me off, but I've had major work done at the dealership and I've always been able to wait there the same day and get my car back. And like Don't Ask said, cam bolts are on hand at the dealership. They're very different for each car, and that's understandable. And so I think that in some aspects, to me, it's actually kind of worth it to go to a dealership to save all this headache. And hopefully if this comes up again, I will be able to make it to the dealership in Bountiful, because that's where I've taken my car a lot. And they're super great. They're really, really good. And that's who I called about the ignition coils. So, because I was like thinking to myself, well, if there's an issue, I'm just going to get a U-Haul with like a tow car thing on the back of it and tow it to Bountiful, which is, I don't know, probably 80 miles away. And so now that I have my car back, if I start to get the lagging and the skipping coming up, I'm just going to go to Mazda. So fingers crossed that we will not run into any more issues. I don't want to deal with this. I am extremely tapped financially for the month, and we'll have to pay out of pocket again for my non-rented property in November, which is fine. This huge shop bill just added stress to that. But I am very grateful to all of you. And if you're interested, if you're new, just finding these car videos, I do outdoor stuff. I'm focusing in more, zeroing in on outdoor products or outdoor. I'm focusing in more on outdoor, just camping, and not being so all over the place with my videos. So I will be getting my car ready tomorrow to go camping for a night and just not too far away and just see how it goes. But my next video will be my roof lights that I have hung up here and how I hung those up, because I think that I have the best system overall. I haven't found any other channels with a good way to hang LED strip lights. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. And then, yeah, we'll go on to some camping videos. So everyone, thanks again for your support. I really appreciate it. And thank you for watching my videos. It greatly helps, and I hope to see you in my next videos. Bye.